Now, knowing you, I know that you're aware of the things that people are saying. You're moving up in two-weight classes. You're the smaller man. Whatever you do, Terence Crawford, don't exchange against them. What do you feel you have?
Be myself. I'm 41-0 for a reason.
Was undefeated for the last half of his career.
For over 2 decades, fans believed Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record was untouchable. He was the ghost in the ring, a defensive genius who made legends look ordinary. But on one historic night, a single statement from the only man to face both Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez threatened to shatter that monument. The debate was no longer just about who was better. It was about whether Floyd's entire era had just been eclipsed. The firestorm ignited the moment Terence Crawford's hand was raised after a masterful performance against Canelo, doing what many thought was impossible.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight.
The real shock, however, came in the post-fight press conference. With the world's media hanging on his every word, Canelo was asked to compare Crawford with his former opponent, Floyd Mayweather. Without hesitation, he gave an answer that shook boxing to its core.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Coming from the only fighter alive to share the ring with both men, this wasn't just an opinion, it was a bombshell. That single sentence sent shockwaves through the sport, igniting a debate that had been simmering for years. Among those immediately drawn into the firestorm was Stephen A. Smith. Like many, he expected Crawford to outbox the bigger man with technical skill and movement. But what unfolded in the ring was something else entirely.
Well, I appreciate Crawford. My prediction comes through. Winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch. As long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight, he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took some body shots to the liver. Some headshot. He exchange. And still ended up winning this fight. Or 8 rounds on, he just put on a boxing. Like I just said, we're putting this dude. Crawford deserved to win the fight.
Smith was astonished. Crawford didn't just survive, he stepped into the fire. He exchanged punches with Canelo, proving he had more than skill. He had grit. As Smith put it, what I didn't expect was for him to stand in there and exchange and survive. And he did that on several occasions. That's why he deserves so much credit. Smith even broke down the fight, scoring at 5 rounds to 4 in Crawford's favor after 9 rounds, before Crawford put on a clinic in the final 3. He absorbed Canelo's power, fired back, and thrived in moments where a smaller man should have folded.
Crawford's a special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior person in the ring. He finds a way to win. No matter who he's going up against, no matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was the best man. He's wonderful. Just a knockout does that. He likes missing you and showing you his skill level.
Stephen A. hailed it as a masterclass. But while he was deeply impressed, he wasn't ready to dethrone the king just yet, because in his mind, there was still another master. One Crawford, for all his heart, could never quite become.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much, and literally walked in the ring and said, I'm gonna embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
This was the line Stephen A. Smith refused to cross. He reminded everyone that Floyd Mayweather was a defensive enigma, a magician whose entire style was built on winning without getting hit. With brittle, damaged hands throughout the latter half of his career, Floyd knew he couldn't rely on knockout power. This wasn't speculation, it was a well-documented fact.
Floyd Mayweather looks me in my face and he says, I'm gonna take him out about the 8th or 9th round. And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're gonna do this? He said, Stephen A., he's a UFC fighter. He said, and he's a striker. He's accustomed to coming at you and throwing punches. What he's not accustomed to doing is punching while he's throwing backwards, while he's moving backwards and pushing you off of him. He says, I'm gonna walk right into him and stay at his chest. He's gonna have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's gonna be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not gonna have any legs. He's gonna be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round. And that is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did. He told me exactly what he was gonna do, and he did it.
He's the man.
Mayweather himself admitted his hands were real, brittle, and revealed he couldn't even spar for a month before his fight with Conor McGregor due to injury.
You hurt your hand? Huh? I thought you hurt your hand at myself. Okay, all right. Relax, baby, the job is done already.
Put in a bucket of ice, man. Yeah, get a bucket of ice. Killing me.
I'm saying Shane hit me with a hell of a shot. Okay. Actually, 2 shots. Oh, okay. But even in that particular round, what I said to Shane was this. I was like,
you just said something to him, you grabbed him.
I said, you gotta kill me.
Oh, shit. I wasn't ready, Floyd.
I said, that was a good one. I said, that was a good one, but you gotta kill me. I said, you gotta kill me. And did I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I meant it.
To adding to the controversy, reports long suggested that in the second half of his career, Mayweather fought almost exclusively in Las Vegas, one of the few places where fighters could legally use numbing injections like xylocaine for hand pain. This hinted that his hand issues were not just a struggle, but a major factor in where and how he fought. Instead of relying on power, Floyd became untouchable.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twisted. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have. But he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
Trainer Greg Hackett echoed this view, arguing that the Floyd who fought Canelo was a complete, polished fighter in stark contrast to Crawford's wilder, riskier approach. 10.
I can't say he's capping. I can't, because I don't know what he felt. But when I heard that, what I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe, but I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he been doing and all that. Trust me, it's on wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what it gives it that air.
I also think you got to remember when you talking about a Mexican fighter, they big on punishment. He might also feel Crawford punches harder than Floyd and took more chances than Floyd took. Floyd really was super speed that night. Like, everything speed, and it irritated Canelo because Canelo couldn't do what he wanted to do, and he looked nothing like himself. Like I said, I think it was just times where Canelo felt like, damn, I could have had him. With Floyd, I think he felt like paralyzed. Like, damn, I can't catch this motherfucker. He too fast. But with Crawford, I felt like he maybe was saying, damn, I could have, if I would have threw this or if I would have did that. You know what I mean? Because it was times Crawford sat there and caught a punch and countered back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He let Canelo throw. Like, go ahead, throw your shit. He caught that shit, boom, and come right back with the hook. The same shot he caught Earl with. He was touching Canelo with some of that same shit, man. And it was just like, and it was times where Crawford was imposing himself on Canelo. He was stepping to Canelo at times. He didn't do it the whole fight, but I'm just saying it was times he stepped to him. Floyd did too, but Floyd just was so fast, so much faster. And the education was like totally different. Like when Canelo fought Floyd, Canelo was in middle school. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Floyd by that time was already a Harvard graduate. You know what I'm saying? So